know, just how much to show, to know what to do. Just jump in the queue, it's tailored to you. So what you gonna do? All in the queue, it's tailored to you. All in the queue, just check out the view. All in the queue. To show, to know what to do, just jump in the queue, it's tailored to you. So what you gonna do? All in the queue, it's tailored to you. All in the queue, it's check out the view. All in the queue.
Oh, y'all, excuse me, because you know how much I hate to interrupt your scroll. So let me hurry up and get through this, because you can go back to do what you gotta do, and I can go back to doing what I gotta do. And I made an illustration just to make it easier for everybody. All right, this is me, and this is you. Okay, and this could be a family, friend, co-worker, alone in the world with a little cat dog. I don't care who it is, to whom it may concern. However, when we get together, it is now us. You know what always gets me is when we first start out, it's always cool, calm, and collected. I like it that way. But somewhere along the lines, you realize, this is you once again, realizing that you like to play games. Okay, you have become so fascinated with playing games that now all of a sudden you think that you could play with me. Here's you thinking that you can play with me. That's crazy. It's honestly crazy, but obviously you like to live on the edge. Okay, now you realize that you found a new love for these games, that you want to incorporate them in your everyday lifestyle. You are dedicated to the process. You are even willing to bet it all. Now, here's this person who knows what I know, and they know that you are in a great deal of trouble, okay? What a dummy is what you call it, because to bet all of that and to only be left with my ass to kiss is diabolical. It's honestly insane if you ask me. All right now, all right, because the thing is this. Let me break it down for anybody who may be a little confused in translation. Here you are with the right idea, but the wrong bitch. Okay? It's very simple. It's extremely simple, okay? Right idea, once again, wrong bitch. Yeah. So now that I have gotten wind of what you think is about to take place, I am pointing you in the direction of where maybe someone would like to play games, okay? Which is all the way over there, okay? Are we there yet? No. Are we there yet? No. Okay, I want you to go further, and further, and further away. You're so excited to continue on with these games that you're like, how much further do I have to go? You are so busy making your way downtown, walking fast, okay? You want to get there, you're excited. And even through all of this, even through it all, I'm still being a good Samaritan, a team player, if you will. I grab my magnifying glass because I am determined to help you find you something safe to do. All right, y'all. Well, look, share with those who need to know.
On this good Sunday morning, I have prepared a statement for the men that are in my comment section saying derogatory things. I see y'all decrepit, bald-headed, stinking asses, but I have refused to respond to y'all because I ain't had the time. So I just wanted to make a blanket statement for every man that said something crazy to me. One man even told me I wasn't all that, and we know that is a lie. But anyway, I just want you to know I have been praying that your life get worse. Okay? I've been praying because it's already miserable because you in a woman comment section messing with her when she ain't messing with you. So I already know you're in a miserable life. You're living in somebody's basement and it smells like peanuts because they done peed on their couch. They done let their pit bull puppies pee on the couch and fight on it. So your life already bad and I want it to be worse. That's the end of my statement. That's all I got. I hope y'all have a wonderful Sunday.
What's going on? What's up with you? How's everybody doing this evening? I hope that everybody is well. As you can see from the topic, we are going into part 2 of the deposition for Tangenique Miller, who was the finance director for the village of Dolton. Let me see who's in the chat that I might need to speak with. Let's see. Martin B., how are you? Foxy2 Roxy, thank you for being here. Grandma Beans. Hey, y'all. Hope everyone is well tonight. Hey, SP. You doing okay? Yep, I'm doing all right. Hey, Enrique Munez. How are you? I hope you're doing good. Hello, K Mac. How you doing? Well. Hey, super duper producer. How are you? I'm sure you're going to come over here and make some crazy comments because I've seen you in some of the other chats making crazy comments. I think you was in Lady Luck's chat the other night making some crazy comments or whatever. Um, and we'll see what happens. And I just want you to know that I'm here to just do this deposition that we're doing. I'm not here for any type of drama or beef. That type of stuff goes on my Twitch. So if you want to tune into that, then you'll have to join my Twitch. But that will be the only place that I will be addressing it. And for the people who are leaving comments on my YouTube, specifically, I want to address someone. I'm not going to say their name or post their comment. I'm sure that they are listening, and I'm sure that they will know who I'm talking to. They left a comment and said, let me get the comment first of all, because I definitely don't want to misquote anyone. Don't want to misquote anyone, so let me make sure I get the comment correct. Make sure, let me see if they removed it. Hold on, because I know y'all saw my baby video that I dropped. I have watched that thing 10,000 times. I just want to let y'all know that I have laughed every time that I have watched it. I hope that you all have laughed as well, because that thing has cracked me up and provided me with some much needed comical relief. Okay. Hold on, I need to find this comment. They may have taken it down. I'm not sure, but let me find it, because I definitely don't want to misquote anyone, but I'm not above addressing people's concerns. That's what I want you to know. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it. This is hilarious because they might have deleted their comment because of the comment that I made back to them. Okay, because I can't find it, I'm going to let it go, but I am going to address it. Hey, Plants for Life, how are you? Howdy, all glad to hear Tangenique's wrongdoing is being addressed. We actually did part 1 on the video that is marked, I think it was, Where's Lil Stank Going? Or something like that. Let me see. Make sure I get the title of it right, so you can find it. Yeah, Where's Lil Stank Going? We actually did the first part on that video. So the first part is located in that video. And super duper producer, I'm just going to address what was said. So a person came on my YouTube and left a comment that said something about me being messy. First of all, I'm going to say this again, and I'm going to continue to say it until people get it, right? Because now I can say it. I do not bother people until they call my name. So when my name is called for no reason, then I'm going to address them calling my name. But other than that, I don't bother anyone. I sit over here on my platform, I stay in my lane, and I do what I do. I don't critique what else nobody else does. I don't do any of that. I do what I do over here and I mind my business. But I don't want you to get it twisted and think that super producer is some sort of punk, because I'm not a punk. And you're not going to bully me. I'm never going to be bullied ever again. Okay? And if somebody keeps calling my name and addresses me, I'm going to address them. Because attacking my character, I'm not going to allow that. So whatever bone you came over here to bring, go back over there and tell that person to stop mentioning my name. If you want to know anything further, you can go to my Twitch and you can watch why they need to stop mentioning my name. And if you notice, the only thing that they do is attack how I look. They don't ever address the questions on the floor. I'll be back on my Twitch on Saturday night or maybe Sunday night. One of those nights. It's probably going to be Saturday night and take Sunday to take a rest. If I have time. I have some other things that I'm working on. Hey, Cheryl Washington. Been missing you too. How are you? I hope you're good. What's up, Master G? How you doing? So that's all I have to say about that. I will not be addressing that person on my YouTube channel. This person claims that they don't care about me or think about me, but somehow magically they knew that I was on my Twitch. Hold on. Grandma Beans, yeah, there's a lot of them in here. I don't mind it, right? But today, don't get out of hand, because I have instructed the mods to do whatever they deem necessary. Normally, the mods, they pretty chill. They don't bother nobody because I tell them not to bother anyone. But I'm not going to have the cult foolery over here. We're not doing none of that. And people that's over here, not going to be talking about that person over there. And they in here sneak peeking. You hear me? They in here. Just waiting to go tell their boss what being said. But that person not thinking about me though, but they sending people over here to watch me. Make that make sense. You can't make it make sense. Grandma Beans, I will get, let me get my Twitch for you. Usually Justin does it for me, but he said he been having a problem with his notifications. So I'm going to try to do it today. I don't know how he does it. He does it better than me. I don't have no idea how to do it sometimes. Hold on. Oh, I found it. All right. I'm going to drop it in the chat right now. I know that's right, super duper producer. They're going to do it. Hello, Mel S. How are you? I don't have any problem with anyone being over here, right? I don't care nothing about it. You know, that person claim that I haven't done anything for Dawn. I'm actually not looking for any type of accolades. I'm a teacher by nature. So what I like to do is give people information. That's what I've been doing. I did the same thing that he tried to do. We had the same information. It is what it is. I'm just watching from the grand bits. Okay. How you doing, Deb Hill? I hope you're doing well. All right. And thank you to Foxy to Roxy. Nope, not even. Golfer. Justin. Dave Bryson. Um, who else do I have? Is all of my mods. Thank you all for all of the hard work that you do over here. Keeping the chat engaged, putting information in the chat. Thank you for doing that. It's not something that you have to do or you get paid to do. So I appreciate you for spending your time here, uh, interacting in the chat and helping out where you can and when you can. Let me see. Okay. All right. Today is Friday, and normally, hello, Helen Gillett. How are you? I wanted Fridays to start being our frame up Fridays, right? Where we just frame everything up, maybe that's been going on and happening during the week. So, the beginning of the week, we saw Lil Stank and Leotis on a Frontier flight, the audacity, going to Atlanta. The speculation is going to Atlanta, the Stone Mountain area, where I have been told that she has a cousin that lives there. And so, and allegedly, allegedly, there could be money stashed there, right? We don't know. Allegedly, this person could be trying to establish residency in Georgia as well. We don't know that. Super duper producer, I don't know. I find it interesting that she can't hire a lawyer where she has Bo Brindley now. So, hey, Miss Wisdom, how are you? She has Bo Brindley as her lawyer now. So, I'm not sure why she has Bo Brindley, because he's a criminal defense attorney. And we are actually talking about municipality matters. It says a lot when somebody hires a criminal defense attorney for some municipality matters. I feel like that says a lot. Hey, eyes wide open. Hey, excuse me, eyes open. Did you save some of that food from the other day? Believe me, all that food is gone. It's gone. And so that gives me pause, because have you done something of a criminal nature that you would warrant you hiring a criminal defense attorney versus a municipal attorney that may know what we're talking about? That might be the reason why you are pleading the fifth, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth on some documents. I don't know. So we got that going on, right? The next meeting for the township is on Tuesday. Will be on Tuesday. I think at 6 maybe. And there are loads of anticipation about what's going to go on at that meeting. Hopefully at that meeting, we can get the agenda, in the proper amount of time. I think it would have to be posted by Sunday, in order for it to be, within the time frame. So hopefully we get the agenda so we can see, possibly what might take place on Tuesday. The township has now gone to one meeting a month. So this will be the only meeting for this month. And so hopefully loads of business can get taken care of then. And I think the highest anticipation is about hirings, firings, resignations. So I think those are the areas of interest. SP, thank you for trying to shake us down for plane tickets and places to stay in other states. I know that's right. I wish I could. I wish I could. My integrity just won't allow me to do it, you know? Um, but I think that's the anticipation um, for this township meeting. Tell me in the comments, what is your biggest anticipation? What do you want to know is on this agenda? And while you're doing that, I'm going to look and see if the agenda has been posted. Master G cutting up today. It's Friday though, so I'm going to look and see if the agenda has been posted for the township. I doubt it. You guys are up late too. It's like 10:05. That's crazy that it's this many people up. Super duper producer. You want Napo to resign? Wow, that's big. That's big. There's a big anticipation. I don't think it's gonna happen, but it's a big anticipation. I gotta clean my glasses because I got a spot in them and I can't see. I'm just looking to see. Okay. Let me see. I gotta bring up another browser because this Chrome browser has been acting up all day. It's weird. Meeting once a month. No, they do the once a month meetings in the summertime, because people are vacationing, the kids are out of school. So schedule wise, it kind of works with everyone's schedule because, it's summertime. So that's actually a good break because people are getting, going on vacations and things. I'm sure that Valerie Stubbs will be at this meeting, at this next meeting. Hey, Susie Q Vegan, been a long time since I've seen the 215 up in here. Listen, I'm going to try one more place and then I'm going to ask y'all to do something because something is happening and something is going on. Hold on. Child, hold on. And I'm going to tell y'all what's happening in a minute. Susie Q, I have not seen you in a long time. I'm so glad to see you. I hope you are doing well. In whatever you're doing. I know you got a channel that you're running. Okay. I'm gonna ask y'all to do something right now because I done had problems on two different windows in my phone. Okay, this is what I want you all to do. I want you guys to go to the Thornton Township website because I've used my Chrome browser, I've used my Explorer browser, and I've also tried to bring it up on my phone, and it says there's an error. This site cannot be reached. What is happening? I just want to confirm that there is something wrong with the website. Hey, Status Quo, how you doing? Yes, if you would please hit the like button, share, subscribe, all of those things, if you will. We're right now, we're just in the middle of the frame up for the week. I told y'all I wanted this to be Fridays is frame up. So we just framing up things for the week that we've been watching. If you all are going to be, if anyone is watching in the village of Dolton, there are loads of things going on in the morning. Tomorrow, the first thing that's going on is the tea with the trustees. I think it's starting earlier. I think it's starting at 8 instead of 9. Hold on, let me make sure that I have that correct. But I think that's correct. Then they have the cleanup of the fountain. The cleanup of the fountain. What do you want, SP, from website? Oh, nothing. I think Susie Q has a channel. Can you post her channel? Everybody. If you can, go and check out Susie Q's channel. I'm looking for the Dolton flyer. I know that there's tea with the trustee tomorrow. There's cleanup at the fountain, and I think they are like running concurrently. There's cleanup at the fountain. There's loads of things going on at the Park District. There'll be Juneteenth and the Father's Day picnic. So you guys, if you're out here in the south suburbs and you are looking for something to do, I also think that Calumet City has a number of Juneteenth and Father's Day events, and so does South Holland. Okay. So you guys judge yourself accordingly to the announcements. Okay. So that's what's going on this weekend. Did anybody go to the Thornton Township website and see if it's working? Justin, can you just go and see if you can pull up the Thornton Township website? I keep getting an error in my Chrome, in my Explorer, and even on my phone. Thank you. Thank you, Justin. Can you all check that for me right now? So I just want to check because I went there to check and see if the agenda, I was going there to check and see if the agenda was there. Friday. Hey, Kathy Stevens, how are you? Hey, Dave Bryson, how are you? Yep, everything's good. Right now, we're checking the Thornton Township website to see if anybody can bring it up. Right now, I cannot access it from my phone. Neither can I access it from my Chrome. It wouldn't load up status quo. Okay. So yeah, something is going on with the website. I don't know yet if anybody needs to be alerted. I guess I'll check back in the morning to see if it is. You said the website only worked once a month, like when they have meetings. That's hilarious. Okay. So there's something wrong with the website. I don't know what that means, but hopefully the new IT head, because I think there's a IT head. Hey, Mama Prima Donna, how are you? It's not loading? Okay, I just want to make sure it's down. Something, something is wrong with the site. I don't know what's happening. It's not even saying can't, I don't know. I know something is wrong, so there's something wrong. I'll check back in the morning and see if I can load it up in the morning. Maybe the IT person is doing some late night work tonight, loading things up on the website. Hopefully, there's nothing else going on. But okay. So did everybody see Michael Madigan got sentenced to 7.5 years? And then probation after that. This man amassed $40 million worth of money with all of these briberies and so forth and so on. And he only has to pay $2.5 million in fines and restitution. Child, that's a mess. Hey, French Wrench. I'm definitely surprised that they're going to have him report to prison in October. He has been given, and I think his day is October 13th or somewhere around in there to have to report. The one thing I can say, if President Trump don't pardon him, this ain't looking good for Lil Stank. Because if he going to prison at 83, they making the rounds. Okay, they're gonna make the rounds. It's just a matter of her getting through all of these whatever um, court cases that she caused for herself, and then there won't be any distractions when it comes time for her, trial. So I am anxiously watching this Michael Madigan situation, because if a pardon comes down, then there's a precedent being set that allegedly corrupt politicians are going to forever be pardoned during this administration. So that's something that I'm watching to see, because that's someone in Illinois, that's someone that was prosecuted, went through a lengthy trial here. The trial didn't start until late, so they took years and years to be able to collect all of this information. There were loads of wiretaps played during this trial. Boy, I can't wait for this trial to be closed down so that those all of those things from the trial can be released as public information. So I want to hear some of these wiretaps and things that were in this trial. So I'm anxiously waiting for this trial to be over so that I can be able to FOIA and get that information. I want to hear what was being said. But this man has amassed over $40 million worth of personal assets from these briberies and things, and he only has to pay $2.5 million in restitution. Man, that's crazy. Okay. So I'm going to be watching that closely for that purpose, because if he is pardoned, we might as well buckle up to be disappointed. So we'll keep an eye on that. All right. Any other matters at hand that we need to talk about? If not, we're going to get into this deposition. We last left off, if you have not watched the first part of Justin, you are so hilarious. If you haven't watched the first part of this deposition, you can see the first part of this deposition on my channel. It is the video titled "Where is Lil Stank Going Now?" And we did the first part of the deposition there. Okay, so we left off. I know that's right, Kathy Stevens. We need to say this again, because I have a question. Is it true that a fire took place behind a car wash that cigarette break had? Yes, there was some video out there or some pictures somewhere, Ms. Wisdom. So yeah, they were burning something in a barrel, from what I know. Could have been papers, could have been anything. My guess, allegedly. Do you all remember the townhome picture I showed you guys with all those boxes in there? And they were boxes of papers, I believe, with the Village of Dolton seal on it. Who knows? Allegedly, they could have been any type of papers from those boxes. As we go through this Tangenique Miller deposition, I'm sure that there's probably some papers, the papers that she was supposed to bring with her from her rider could have been in could have been in there allegedly, since she couldn't find them. Is what she told us in her deposition. So, you know, if Madigan is Democrat, that he will be pardoned. I've seen stranger things happen, Enrique, and there have been a lot of matter of fact, let me just say, because there's one in particular. Hold on. There's been a lot of different. Y'all gonna hear me typing. Don't start. All right. Don't start. I don't know what y'all saying. Hello, Karen Johnson. How are you? Okay, let's see. Was he a Republican? Blagojevich? Because he was pardoned. Hold on, I'm trying to check and see if he was a Democrat or if he was a Republican. This guy right here. This guy right here. Was he Trump pardoned him this year from Illinois. 2011 conviction on 17 to 20 corruption counts. He was pardoned this year. I don't remember if he was a Republican. He was a Democrat? Yeah, so Enrique, okay, like I said, he have a chance, and it probably will happen. It probably will happen, so just gotta, I don't know. I'm just watching that closely because it's Illinois, right? And it's something that's currently happening. And it's probably going to have a bearing on, what happens with her. So he's not immune to pardoning Democrats, okay? So he can. He was a Democrat that became friends with. Okay. Listen, you never know. I'm not putting anything past these people now because you can't. Yeah, he did, which normally gets you convicted if you go against the machine, right? So I wasn't surprised that he got convicted because that's what he did. Okay. He definitely will be pardoned due to his age, even though that didn't matter with Bill Cosby. Now, okay. I think that he will just be pardoned because he has not gone against the machine, right? He has not thrown anyone under the bus or anything. And he's basically not told anything about what happens behind the scenes, right? He's been fairly quiet. The judge in this case, from what I read today, hey, Reality Check TV, how are you doing? Grace and peace to you too. Enrique, to the highest bidder, okay? And when I used to go to church, there was a song that they used to sing that says, to the utmost, okay? So that is a thing that I do believe. And so because Michael Madigan has not, what I was reading from the judge, because his lawyers were hoping that he was going to get less time, right? He had his wife do this whole video begging the mercy of the court. And I feel like the reason he did not, he got the 7.5 years, um, was the judge said that he did not have any remorse. He did not seem like he had any remorse for doing what he did to the residents or to the citizens of Illinois, for taking their money and taking those bribes. And so the judge gave the sentence strictly based on the fact that he felt like he was not remorseful. And when he got up and gave his his speech to uh the court, let me see if I save what he said. He didn't apologize for anything. He just said it was unfortunate that he was going to have to um be spending time in jail at 83 years old. He didn't care about anything else. Let me see if I saved it. I didn't. That's what I read today, but I didn't save it. Hey SP, how was your week? Hope all is well in your world. Hope you have a great weekend. Long overdue from Madigan. Long time coming. I know that's right. Audra, please tell these people how long we have been waiting for this. I've been okay, Audra. And things are going how they going. All right, let's get into this deposition. I'm just going to be watching that Michael Madigan thing really closely, because I feel like it's going to tell us, the temperature. People can be convicted. They can recognize their wrongdoing, but will they be sentenced? Will they actually spend any time in jail? And what is that saying to the world? What is it saying to America about America's political system? What is it saying that? What is it saying about that? SP, one question before you start. Is there any information on if Dolton or the township have any audits for what funds were misused? I believe that there is a forensic audit being done in Dolton currently. I'll tell you what I will do, Master G, is I will FOI for the report. I will find out. The FOIA will let me know if there was one done. I will ask for the report and we'll go through it. And we'll see, what happens there. But they could be in the middle of it. I believe that they're in the middle of it right now, doing that. And they will be going department by department. So that could take at least, I would say, until Christmas, maybe, before anything, because they would have to release the report to the public. They would need to release the report to the public. So I will find out though. Let me see. I see another question here. Denise Cruz says, do you think Tangenique will go to jail for covering up things for Tiffany? Denise Cruz, I think it's Caruso. No. Why do I say no? I say no because look at the time that has passed. She's been deposed by Odelson, and which should lead you to believe that she has been deposed by the Alphabet Boys, right? So anybody that had anything to do with money have also been deposed by the Alphabet Boys. So if I had to bet money, I would bet that she already has protection in place for herself. So, that's my thoughts. That's my thought on it. And I do believe that I do believe that we can walk with that thought strongly, because nothing has happened. Because trust me, the news and everyone is watching. Everyone that had anything to do with this, right? If there's anyone associated with these finances gets indicted, we gonna know about it. Okay. Audra says, why do I feel like Madigan had something to do with Washington death? Yeah, I felt that since grade school. Could have been a lot of things. I believe that there's a lot of, how do I say this? I feel like there's a lot of things that go on in politics that we know, and then there's a lot of things that we don't want to know that we know that go on in politics, right? Because I'm going to throw this scenario out there. What happens when you have someone who is who really is going hard after a politician, right? And then all of a sudden you don't hear them saying anything. You don't hear them, you don't see them, nothing is happening, right? Nothing is happening anymore. They're not talking about this person, they're not harping on this person. One of two scenarios could be happening, right? One scenario could be they asked this person how much money they wanted to stop doing the things that they're doing, right? Bringing attention, exposing things or whatever. So that could be a scenario. Another scenario could be, okay, you want to do this the hard way and they get some type of scare, right? I'm just saying, you know? So there are two types of scenarios that could be happening that we know could be happening, right? But we choose to ignore those types of things or those types of behaviors or those types of patterns. So, yeesh, you just don't know what's going on out here. All right. So we left off. Yeah. Yellowstone, Handmaid's Tale. You can watch all of those shows and find out about this type of stuff, So we left off. Do you think that's why Illinois is so corrupt? I do. I think that Illinois is also Illinois is corrupt for a lot of reasons, right? The first reason I would say Illinois is corrupt is because there are so many layers of government, right? You have the county, you have the municipality, you have the township, you have the state. I mean, look at all of these layers of government that people have the opportunity to siphon money from, right? Or hide money, or, make backdoor deals, or give developers incentives and never produce buildings. Because there's so many layers of government, you definitely only have two eyes, right? It would take a lot of us at once looking everywhere to be able to keep an eye on the money, right? This is like a shell game here in Illinois, right? Like I said, you got the state, you got the municipality, you got the county, you got the township. I mean, that's a lot of layers. It's a lot of places to hide things. It's a lot of places to misuse money. There's a lot of places to lose money. Right? I come from a state where they got rid of all of those layers of government because of that. We had a great governor come in and he got rid of all of that. And so where the state that I come from, you only have your city government and the state. It's only two places. Ain't you can't hide too much. I mean, you could do a little, but baby, your slip gonna be hanging because somebody's gonna see it. Also allegedly, Illinois is the place for those mafia families. you know, is a place that is deep rooted in that type of history. So um yeah, I mean, I think there's some decisions that need to be made for the next governor, right? If the next governor even thinks about running on a ticket that claims transparency and tough on corruption, he needs to think strongly about getting rid of some of these layers of government, right? That needs to be a strong talk. So, you know, not that my opinion matters now, because we all have been told that my opinion don't matter, that I'm nobody. So, that's just coming from a nobody. So we left off on this deposition. And let me see what time it is, you guys. Okay. But then you have to think about those overseeing the governor, because Pritzker and this tax bill is all the way on my nerves. We need to demand more in Springfield. I'm very concerned about this budget. From what I have been seeing, they totally removed the property tax refund line item from the budget. There are some other things that they removed from the budget, but he definitely did not give account for that $1.3 million that he spent on this immigrant city, and nothing was built. I mean, there's a frame out there, but them developers was paid though. So, definitely, I feel like a lot of things are going away in the best interest of the residents. So, I'm keeping an eye on that as much as I can. Also, I'm going to be in the next coming days. I'm going to be telling you all or showing you all, at least in the state of Illinois. I don't know about any other state because I live in Illinois, right? Can I research and find out if you all can do it in the other states that you're in? Sure. I may try to look and see a couple of states of people that I know in here. Georgia, we got Georgia in here. Texas is in here a lot. Who else? I got some New Yorkers. I'm going to be showing you guys how to fill out a witness slip. The witness slip for your Senate, House, all of those things, for your government, your state government, is a slip that you can file either in support of something, or you can file it not in support of something. You can also, in the state of Illinois, ask to testify in front of these committees. So there was a homeschool law that they were kicking around and talking about. You can go to that committee. You can click that committee or that bill that they are trying to put. You click it, and then there's a button where you can click and say that you want to testify before the committee. And you can do that via Zoom at home in the privacy of your own home, or you can do it in person. And I'll be showing you guys how to do that, because this is a way that you can be involved with your government, from wherever you are. And you can feel like your voice was heard. And it will actually be put into the meeting notes and record. So I'll show you guys how to do that. They had a bill on the floor for homeowners who have owned their homes for 30 years or more not to have to pay taxes, but he hasn't passed a bill. It would have helped me a lot. Yeah. I mean, there are so many things that have been sitting on his desk since he became governor that it wouldn't be in the best interest of his friends who put him in the seat allegedly. So they have just been sitting there. Okay, Deb Hill, Ohio. All right. All right. So now we're going to go down. We left off. I know where we left off. We left off when Tangenique was telling us about why she did not ask anybody else for the papers that she needed um, to come to the deposition, the writer, the list of things or documents that she was asked to bring with her to the deposition. Now, low key, allegedly, I feel like those lawyers told her not to bring the papers on purpose, right? Because if you show up without them, there's nothing that they can do about it. You just there without them, right? You're not being arrested. You're not being indicted. It's a deposition. It's that you agreed to answer some questions under oath. That's what you did. So, afterwards you're free to go. And so low key, allegedly, if it was me thinking this, these lawyers told her not to even look for the papers or get them. So this is where we left off. Because as the finance director, why would you not have any of these papers that he asked you for? Any of these finance documents? You are the finance director. So why would you not have them? But also, why would you be looking in your email for them? That's a strange place to look for some financial documents. All of these things plagued my mind when I was reading this. All right, so we'll start off here. We're not going to be in here too much longer. Some people have started to complain about my videos being too long, so I don't want to keep you too long. But we are going to go through a couple of pages of this, and then we'll pick it back up. All right. So I'm going to be on the left side of the page here, where they did all the objecting about him asking her if the lawyers, and she couldn't tell him what she told the lawyers. So he just said okay, and he skipped it. So prior to the departure, this is Mike McGrath asking these questions, by the way. Where you see Q is the question, that's Mike McGrath. A in the bold is the answer from Tangenique Miller. And again, I'm going to say this again. She's a very smart woman. Okay. You're going to hear that in some of these answers that she gives. She's very knowledgeable. I'm not attacking her personally or anything. What I am questioning is her decisions and her decision-making process. Okay. I am questioning that. Her as a person, I have no problem with. She's probably a wonderful, beautiful person, intelligent woman, that just got herself wrapped up in something that she could not, she tried to get herself out of. Probably was a very difficult thing. And so Mike McGrath asked her, prior to your departure from the village of Dolton on May 6th of 2024, did you speak to anyone at the village of Dolton and advise them that, my deposition is coming up and I had a subpoena with a writer? I look for documents. Can the village look for documents for me? I'm heading out the door. And she said, no, she didn't. Then he asked her where she lives. He didn't want her address, but he wanted her city. And she lives in Calumet City at this time. I don't know if she still does, but at this time she gave the deposition, which it was in May of 2024, she did. He asked her how long she lived in Calumet City. She said since 2007. Asked her, did she have any plans to move within the next 2 or 3 years? And she said no. He said, are you married? She said no. He asked her if she had any children. She said she does. So this right here, this is why I was telling you guys about the hour thing, right? When we were talking about the hours, she works 40 hours a week for the health department. She worked 20 hours a week for the village of Dolton. When was all of this working, eating, sleeping, taking care of your children? When was all of that taking place? So, what is happening? Okay, look at link. What link, Jeff? Oh, is this a different one? This a different link? Let me hit it. Taste of Thornton Township. Taste of Thornton. Is this a different website now? They have a whole new website? That's amazing. Oh, that's the village of Thornton. Okay, no, we want the township. That's the village of Thornton. We want the township. It's hard. Something different. It's okay. We just know that the other one, the Thornton Township website is down for whatever reason. I don't know what's happening with that. Hopefully it's nothing bad. Hopefully it doesn't mean anything. Hopefully it just means that maybe somebody is doing some work. We'll check back before we get off this live. Okay? So that's why I told you all, if she has a child, if there are any children involved in these hours, I don't know about these hours. So that's why I asked that. When you were hired the second time as the finance director for the village of Dolton, what was your compensation? So she was making $90,000 a year, and that's on a part-time basis. She said, no, I was full-time when I was hired. He said, all right. So you were hired in, I believe you said January of 2022. She said, yes. And you went part-time effective January 1st of 2024. And was your compensation reduced by going part-time? She says, yes. It was, what was it reduced to? She said $35,000. And was that done at your request? And he said, yes. She said, yes. So, like I said, I don't think she's a bad person. She just got wrapped up in this, and it just I think it kind of just got away from her. If you ask me, because she answered this question honestly, that she was the one that said, to cut her pay. And so she went from 90,000 to 35,000 as a part-time worker. Then he said, you received the full-time job at the Department of Health. And she said, yes. Okay, we are starting. Oh, they was talking over each other. It says, at the village of Dolton, see, because he's going to go over this again and make sure, to make sure she don't want to change her answer. Because, like I said, you've got to live too. Right? You got to eat, sleep, take care of your children. We talking about, you just said you working 60 hours. 40 at another job that's in a different location, and 20 at another one that's in another location. And you shouldn't be overlapping any of that time. At the village of Dolton, both while you were full-time and part-time, who do you report to? And so she said, at the village of Dolton, and he said, as the finance director, who did you report to? She said, Keith Freeman, the village administrator. Did you have a contract as a director of finance, either as full-time or part-time director of finance? And she said no. She didn't have a contract, so she was not 1099. She was W-2. Who told you that you were to report to Village Administrator Freeman? She said Village Administrator Freeman. Okay, as the director of finance, what were your job responsibilities? And this is where I know that he is trying to establish that it makes no sense that you don't have any of the financial documents that we asked for, because I'm getting ready to ask you what your job duties were as the director of finance. And he asked the question, and she says, oversee financials. So why would you not have any financial documents with you sitting in this chair right now in front of me today, when I gave you a list of financial documents that we wanted you to bring and you brought nothing? Child, this is taking me out. And that's for the complete. So then he asked her, and she says she oversees financials. Then he says, and that's for the complete or the entire village of Dolton municipal government, correct? She says yes. And did people report to you? She said, I worked with contractors. He said, all right. Is there a finance department within the village of Dolton? She said, no. All right. So you were the entire finance department in the village of Dolton. Now we are establishing that no one else is responsible for financial documents or any financial reporting other than you. You. For the entire village of Dolton, you are responsible for the financial oversight of the village of Dolton. The question is asked, and she says yes. So you reported to VA or Village Administrative Freeman and no one else, correct? She says correct. And no one reported to you because there was no support staff or no one else in the finance department that would report to you. She says correct. When I read this, I was like, dum dum da dum dum da dum da dum da dum. Because where are you going? Who are you blaming? You can't blame no one because you just took sole responsibility for the entire full and complete Village of Dolton finance reporting and department. That's what you did. Let me see what you said. Wow, this is so interesting. She was the only one but didn't bring paperwork. Okay. This is what McGrath is trying to establish. And then he says, and does that go by a calendar year or does it go by some other time period? Oh, no, I skipped the question. Hold on. So he establishes that no one reports to her. She doesn't have anybody else in her department but her, and she reports to Keith Freeman. And then it says, does the village of Dolton have a fiscal year? And she says yes. This is the portion. Hey, Mrs. Starks, how are you? Hope you're doing well this evening. Thank you for joining us. We're not going to be on here too much longer. We're probably going to leave a cliffhanger tonight. But so, and this is the portion that we're getting ready to get into where I'm telling you that this woman is very intelligent. She knows what she's doing, right? She was not qualified for the job. She's going to give explanations for things that you need to know. So the next part of this deposition, right? Whether you live here or you're in your own state, Haley Hamilton, you need to know about appropriation ordinance and budget ordinance. And appropriations, tax levies, she's going to explain all of this and she's going to do it very well. She's going to do it very well. Okay. So I just want you to pay attention to this next portion. So he asked about the calendar year, or does it go by some other time? And she said another time period. And what is the time period for the Village of Dolton fiscal year? Hey, Winky Wonder. So she tells that, hey, Robert Morris coincidentally same school. We question if Tiffany actually went to Smart. I say manipulator, but I could be wrong. Judge Petty, she also went to Chicago State. So her first degree is from Chicago State, right? So we can already deduce that she had a proper education and she majored in accounting. So she had a bachelor's degree from Chicago State in accounting. So she got some good education that 4 years. So we can safely deduce that she, is pretty smart. All right. So she tells that the Dolton fiscal year goes from May 1st to April 30th. So May 1st of this year to April 30th of next year is Dalton's fiscal year. Okay. And then, so now McGrath is going to go over some terms. Yeah, Ms. Wisdom, that part. Yeah, very much so. Okay. Very much so. And you know what, Judge Petty, I will take that degree, the one from Chicago State too. Not that Robert Morris isn't a school, right? So because we can't really judge them based on Lil Stank, because Lil Stank gonna be Lil Stankin'. She just gonna be doing her. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure that they have some programs there that are very legit and rigorous. So I don't know. I never been there, so I can't really say. But now McGrath says, let me go over some terms with you and ask you if you are familiar with these terms as it relates to the village of Dolton and you being the director of finance, okay? Are you familiar with the term budget? She says yes. He says, what is a budget? She then, like a smart accountant would say, do you mean operational? She said operational budget. And then she says it lists the incoming and outgoing cash flows for the fiscal year. That is our operational budget in a nutshell. It lists the incoming and the outgoing cash flows for the fiscal year of that entity, whatever you're working for, a business, a municipality, a corporation. That's an operational budget in a nutshell. And who prepares the budget? Here we go. She says, I do. Then he says, do you know the term of a tax levy? She says, yes. What is a tax levy? Again, another intelligent answer. It's the annual passing of the tax percentage that the village would levy on property taxes. And that is documents prepared and then sent into the county, correct? She says correct. And then that percentage is kind of the ask of the village of Dolton for revenues from property taxes that are spread across the tax rolls within the village of Dolton. Is that fair? Right? So the village of Dolton gathers information, they gather numbers, and they say, I'm just going to throw a number out here. Okay? I'm just going to throw a number out here. We need to collect $3.5 million in property taxes. Right? This is what they're asking. Out of all the taxes that are going to be collected from the village, they're asking for $3.5 million back. So they're going to give, let's say, in all of the taxes that they collect, they turn in $10.5 million to Cook County. And then they asking Cook County to give them back $3.5 million to operate with from the taxes. Okay? That's what happens for tax levies. Okay? And so McGrath says, okay, and who prepares the tax levy? Now, this is where it get dicey for me. She said Casperick prepares the tax levy. Okay? Hold on, let me see. Is that a normal request? Is what a normal request, Winky? It's normal for municipalities to request the amount of money that they want back. It's an ask. So yeah, it's normal. Those were just numbers that I was throwing out. I don't know. See, the more taxes or the more properties that you have within your municipality, the more money you can ask for back. Right? But it's something normal. It's something that every municipality does. It is their operating budget money. Okay. So here's where it gets dicey for me, that Casperick prepares the tax levy, but she is the finance director and works in the municipality on a daily basis, on a day-to-day basis, that he's preparing that, but she is the one that is sitting in the numbers or working with the numbers daily. Okay. Anyway, McGrath said that's John Kasperick and his accounting firm, and she says correct. And then, are you familiar with the term appropriations? She says yes. And what's the difference between an appropriation and a tax levy and a budget? So he asked her the difference between these three things. Okay. She says we submitted the appropriations to Cook County, which means we just appropriated funds that were planned to be spent. Okay. So they have a budget. They planning on spending this much in each department. That is the funds they want to appropriate to each department. I'm taking my $3.5 million. I'm splitting it between all of these departments, and which means I'm appropriating each department this amount of money from the taxes that you gave us back. We kept an internal budget that aligned with how they plan to spend the dollar amount. So they made a budget for each department. This is your budget for the year. Okay. That's the in-house budget, so that the budget was more detailed. The appropriation was to basically appropriate the use of dollars. The tax levy was related to how much would be levied on the property for taxes. Okay? Everybody clear so far? We together. But if you listen to her answers, she's very intelligent. She's spot on. And, she knows what she's doing. I believe that he asked these questions in this calculated way too, to show that she knows what she's doing. She even knows if she's doing something wrong, right? Because if you can correctly answer the differences between those three things, then you know when something is wrong. Thank you, Anissa Stark, for the super chat of $2. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Okay. So I believe that was another reasoning for this line of questioning, which is pretty genius if you ask me, because now you have established, right, that she's aware. She's intelligently, cognitively aware when she's asked to do something inappropriate that does not align with Illinois statute, law, or ordinance. Okay. Do you know if the village of Dolton operates under the budget system or the appropriation system? She answers, there is conflict there. Historically, there has been always a budget prepared, but the appropriation is submitted to Cook County. Again, if she can intelligently articulate this process, then she knows when she's doing something wrong. So then he says, so based upon your experience, would you agree that the village of Dolton operates under an appropriation system, but keeps an internal operating budget to work off of, and the village attempts to follow that budget throughout the fiscal year? She says yes. Kasperick, his firm, prepares the tax levy. Who prepares the appropriation, which is filed with the county? This is very important. This is very important because remember, appropriation. This is the money that you say you're going to be using for each department, line by line. This is the money that you're saying to Cook County, you gave us back this money and this is what we're going to do with it. If that internal budget says something different from this appropriation, can there be money missing? Can there be, things happening that shouldn't be happening with money? This is what I looked at. This was my thought process when I saw this. Once I understood this, right? Because I'm not an accountant. But once I understood this, then I said, wow, okay. So you turned into Cook County allegedly something that might have been true and correct, and that made sense. But internally, you had a budget that said something different. Who's to know? Who's to know? All right. So Casbrick is his firm prepares the tax levy. Who prepares the appropriation, which is filed with the county? She says that she prepares that, and they filed it. So she prepared it, and Casbrick filed it. The question I have is, why, if you prepared it, would Casbrick need to file it? Why would he need to be given that paper? For audit purposes, you could just have him audit, and make sure that your numbers were correct or, whatever. But why would he be the one that would file it? Why wouldn't you file that yourself? But anywho, that's just my question. I don't know too much about this part of the process, but that is my question. Why would you leave that to an outside firm when that's something that's very important to the village and should be filed and done correctly? Hey, Cheryl Day. He says, all right, when you say they, you are talking about Casbrick? Casbrick, yes. All right, and that is done going into a fiscal year, during a fiscal year or after the fiscal year. She says it could be any of the above depending on the time it takes to be reviewed. And any edits made by either the trustees and the mayor together, the time that it is presented to the public for them to make comment and changes and then to be passed. So it just depends on the process that current year. I'm not going to hold you to. There is statutory guidelines of when the appropriations and tax levies should be prepared and available for public review and public hearings. The revisions and then filed with the county, correct? She says correct. All right, but you would prepare the initial appropriation ordinance, which has a number of line items. She says, and then it would be made available to the mayor and the board and discussed at a village board meeting. Or that's how it should take place, correct? Is the assessment or the audit signed under penalty of perjury? My dog Rex, I don't know. That's definitely something I could find out. I could find out though. She says it could be discussed during a special meeting or a finance committee meeting or a board meeting, but yes, it has to be made available to the public. Then the revisions can be made. Additions or subtractions to different items on the appropriation ordinance before its final passage, correct? She says correct. Hey, Strawberry Shortcake, how are you? Hey, Charlie Girl Montgomery, how you doing? All right. And then once it's finally passed, it's based upon an affirmative vote by the corporate authorities, which is the Board of Trustees. Correct. So she says correct. And then it's filed with the county. So the county then knows what the appropriation ordinance would be for the village of Dolton. She says correct. That's what I thought, Judge Petty. I wanted to be clear. I wanted to make sure first, right? But I don't know when they turn it in if there's some sort of, what type of paper they fill out, right? Because when you're in Illinois and there's certain things that papers you fill out, that say that you agree that this is true and whatever. So I don't know. I want to find out first. I asked because Illinois law taxes commercial property, not private property. Right. That's correct. Okay. Let's see. Okay, and then it's filed with the county, so the county knows the appropriation ordinance would be for the village of Dolton. She says correct. All right, then who keeps or who kept track of the village's finances on a weekly or a monthly basis at the village of Dolton while you were there? She says it was a combination of Kasprick and herself. Okay. What type of reports would be prepared for you and Kasprick to put together to show the mayor and the board and village administrator that the financial status of the village of Dolton was on a particular day, week, or month? Now, this is very important. If you want to FOI, she is getting ready to tell you what you need to FOI to find out what the village's status, financial status is on a day, a week, or a monthly basis. She says there is a financial statement package that is available by, every board meeting. The first Monday of the month, which includes a breakdown of funds and individual funds. So you see that? So every first Monday of the month, there is a financial statement package that is prepared or should be being prepared and is being sent to the board of trustees and to the mayor of the breakdown of funds in individual funds, okay, in individual accounts. Is there a question if she inflated numbers after approval of trust? That is the question. My question doesn't come from her, but my question comes from having the Kasprick firm being allowed to handle said numbers, right? Because we know that Lil Stank controlled them. That is the question for me. Okay. It includes this financial statement package that is prepared every first Monday of the month with all of these breakdowns in it, includes budget versus actuals. So it includes what budget they passed versus where they're actually at. Okay. It includes cash balances per account. That was basically the financial package. It included definitely kind of a snapshot of the prior month of finances. Okay? So find out whatever village or city or state or whatever you live in, if they have this financial packet that is created. I don't know what day it would be for you. For Dolton, she's saying it's the first Monday of every month that this is created. Okay? And this snapshot, the financial package that's given prior to a village board meeting, does that have a title or a name? The reason I ask is because you don't have anything with you. So listen, you see how he just did that? Slick, wasn't he? Slick. You just said that these documents exist. Well, why didn't you bring them with you? Because definitely they were prepared before you came. Because it's the first Monday of every month and it is the 21st day of May. See how he did that? See that? Whew, boy. This some nasty work here. The reason I asked he says because she don't have any pay. So if I wanted to request it from the village, what would I be asking for? She says monthly financials. Is that what it says on top of the document? She says right now, I don't know. While you were there, she says, I don't remember. Now, all of a sudden, she don't remember. She remembered vividly what comes in the packet, but now she don't remember the name of it. It definitely says financials, something financials. Okay? All right. This financial report that was prepared by you or Kasperick prior to every board meeting. She said Kasperick prepared the actual financials, and we know he allegedly didn't give the correct numbers on that financial statements because I know that they were not turning in receipts from the credit card use. But anyway, I digress. And those financial statements that would be prepared by Kasperick prior to the village board meetings, would that be based upon financial information that you gave Kasperick? She says it's based on information that was entered in the system throughout the month. So my question is, why would she be getting actuals from him? She can access the system too. Why are we getting actuals from the outside firm? I don't know. That's just my question. I ain't the smartest or the brightest bulb in the pack, but this my question. Okay, what system are you talking about? She says the system is called Civic. It's just called Civic? She says yes. All right. And who enters information, financial information into Civic? She says Kasperick enters the information into the general ledger. And how does Kasperick get that information to enter into the general ledger of Civic? She says they are given a copy. They are on the email. I mean, they work within the day-to-day of everything that's going on. And who do they work with on the day-to-day at the village of Dolton? She says, myself and Janice and all the staff, depending on what the project is. Okay. What report or ordinance contains the expected costs of each department and for vendors during the fiscal year? Would that be in the budget or would that be in the appropriation ordinance? She said the budget for sure. And correct me if I'm wrong, the budget was a document that you prepared as the director of finance while you were employed with the village of Dolton. She says correct, but she has no papers with her today. She prepares the budget for the village of Dolton, but she had no papers with her. She couldn't find none. She couldn't find them in her email. She couldn't find them. Okay. So, all right. And the budget would include expected costs for vendors for the village and utilities for the village. So then she breaks down the budget. The budget breaks down spend per month per general ledger line item. So that could be utilities, that could be insurance, and in the description, it would list the vendors that were used typically for those services. So based on history, if we spent money with ComEd in the utilities line, it would list ComEd, the water company, or whoever we are paying out of that line item. And then they would allocate a dollar amount based on what you plan to spend, and it would be to a general ledger line item. Let me see what time it is. All right. I don't want to go too long. Okay. We'll do this last page and then we'll pick it up again. Okay, and we'll get into a little bit then when an invoice is submitted, say from ComEd, would it go into my viewpoint and then go to different department heads or directors to approve or accept that invoice on my viewpoint, correct? She said, correct. That's the process. And then, if approved, that would go into the villages or onto the village's warrant list for approval at a village board meeting, correct? She says, correct. Different line items that I've seen within the budget, there's a budget amount for tree removal or branch removal within the village of Dolton, correct? Tree services, yes. All right. Just for example, if that budget amount, and this is just a hypothetical, is $250,000 for the year, what happens if tree trimming or branch removal is in excess of that budgeted amount of $250,000 per year? She says it just exceeds the budget. They do not have a current escalation process, and they currently do not have a mid year kind of budget revision process. So that's something they do not have. So if it exceeds because costs are more than what was budgeted, it will just exceed, especially if it was an emergency service. So all of these things hopefully are being corrected. These things that she said they don't have an escalation process if something exceeds the budget for that department for tree. In this case, it was tree good services. All right. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, but you would agree that there is incidents where you have budgeted line items and the expenses end up exceeding what was budgeted. She says that's possible. That's what your experiences on certain line items, was it not? During your time as the director of finance with the village of Dolton. She said, yes, it's possible. Okay, and you just said a phrase that they, and the they you meant is the village, does not have a system as far as adjusting the budget throughout the year if expenses for different line items exceed what was budgeted for. She says, right. That's not the current process. Okay. Are you familiar with the village's ability to amend the budget during the budget year by changing the figures, having a public hearing? She says, I'm familiar with it. Yes. That's allowed under the Illinois Municipal Code, correct? So then one of the attorneys object, but they tell her she can answer. And she says she doesn't know. And then McGrath says, is that allowed? Uh, is that allowed under the village code that the budget can be amended? She says, I don't know. I've never seen it in practice in either term that I worked there. Have you ever had any discussions with the village administrator Freeman about adjusting the budget throughout the fiscal year if items are exceeding what was budgeted or if they are lower than what was budgeted for? She says, no. Now, let me tell you something. First thing I know is that attorneys like McGrath and just attorneys in general, they don't ask questions that they don't already know the answers to. So when he asked her that question twice, he already knew that there is an Illinois statute where they can adjust the budget. They can put it out to the public again, tell them what they had to adjust for, and it be legal. It be budgeted. It be, made public and known. So there's that. Okay. Going back to the hypothetical for the tree removal. Well, we know he ain't going back to a hypothetical because we know that this tree removal thing was a thing, right? Right. If the amount of expenses exceeds what was budgeted for, how does the village's finance department handle that? Well, trees is a special case because there is another fund to fund trees. Say what? So it depends on, again, that invoice. So what's the other fund? She says MFT. MFT is motor fuel tax. I believe that's how I go. Yep. Okay. She said, so they receive MFT motor fuel tax figures to maintain streets and trees and things like that. That's if the tree removal is allowed under MFT, correct? She says correct. Would you agree not all tree removal and tree branch trimmings are covered under MFT? Okay, so let's discuss this MFT. Somebody's name being called on the other side. Let's discuss this MFT funds, right? Because I believe that little stank mentioned these MFT funds trying to tell the village of Dolton that they had money and it was in this account, right? However, they may have money and it's in this account, there are strict rules. Hold on, I see a question. SP, why are you competing with LLC with these lawsuits reading? This is not a lawsuit. This is actually a deposition. Super duper producer. So this is not a lawsuit. This is a deposition. And how am I creating enemies when, listen, I don't have time to address you because I'm not competing with anyone. This is a deposition. She doing lawsuits. She can do lawsuits. I don't, ain't got nothing to do with it. All right. So this motor fuel tax has specific things that it can be used for, right? There's specific things that it can be used for. It's for roads, fixing potholes, bridges. And when he asked about the trees, I believe that you can use this to remove trees that are impeding the roadway, right? That are impeding the roadway and that are otherwise impeding roads, bridges, just hanging over into the street that may become a problem if a storm comes. There's certain situations that these monies can be used, and I believe that's why he asked the question. So then this is where it gets explained. She says, well, trees is a special case because there's another fund. They say, she says MFT. She says, okay. So they receive MFT, motor fuel tax figures to maintain streets and trees and things like that. That's if the tree removal is allowed under MFT, correct? And she says correct. You would agree not all tree removal and tree branch trimmings are covered under MFT. They objected, but she had to answer. And she says, I was just going to say that's possible. I don't know. And then he says, let's talk about legal expenses. And I think we're going to put a pin in it for tonight right here, so your jaw can drop. He says, let's talk about legal expenses. Certainly the village has budgeted legal expenses, correct? She says correct. All right. What does the village do if legal expenses exceed the budgeted amount? She says the same with the other items. They will pay whatever that they are liable to pay. He says, okay, so even if legal expenses come in higher than what was budgeted for, you would agree that the village is obligated to pay those legal fees. She says they are obligated. Mr. Goldberg says, I object to her giving an opinion about what they should pay or not. Are you asking her opinion about whether they should be paid? Is that what you're asking? McGrath says yes. Then she says they should pay what they are liable for. McGrath says, okay, in general terms, if vendors perform services for the village of Dolton, do you have an opinion one way or another if those vendors should be paid? She says, no, I don't have an opinion about who should or should not get paid. During your tenure as director of finance, did you ever make any decisions or on who should or should not be paid? She said, no, that's not my role. Okay. Goldberg says you got to make sure he finishes the question. Okay. Demograph says when you say it's not your role as director of finance to say whether or not any vendor who has submitted an invoice should be paid, or is it your testimony that you didn't make the decision during your time as the village finance director? She says correct. Going back just as far as legal expenses, and we'll go through some of the documents the village of Dolton has budgeted for legal expenses every year. It's anywhere from 350,000 to around 450,000. Does that sound right? She says, I don't recall. Okay, and if legal invoices submitted to the village exceed the budgeted amount, where would the village get the money to pay for those legal invoices? She says they have to get the money from revenue the same way they get money for all operations. So the question was if they have legal invoices submitted to the village that exceed the budgeted amount. So if they budgeted for 150,000 and it goes above that, where would the village get the money? Miss Miller answers and says they have to get the money from the revenue the same way they get money from all operations. So if a line item, the actual expense, exceeds what's budgeted for, would the village have to look for a surplus from some other line item to make a payment for an expense that exceeded the budgeted amount? She says they can look at a line item, they can look at other funding sources, a bond, or some sort of loan. Yeah, or a transfer from some other account where it may be allowed. They just would have to consider all funding sources availability. You stated before the Caspric, that is the village accounting firm, correct? She says correct. Lauren, I don't want to mess her name up. Um, he asked her if she knows her. She says yes. And she is a supervisor with Caspric and supervises the village of Dolton account on behalf of Caspric. Correct. She says she works with Caspric. Correct. Do you know our returner? She says yes. And who is our returner? An employee for Caspric. Does our returner go to the village of Dolton on a regular basis to perform finance work from the village of Dolton? She says she goes to the village of Dolton. Yes. Are you aware? Are you aware that she goes to the village of Dolton every week? Her schedule says that, yes. Okay. Chris Morabali, this is the young man that was in question the last time, who in the Lori Lightfoot report stated that he was told not to give village finance reports to the trustees. Do you know that person? She says yes. And who is that person? Another employee of Caspric. Okay. Who works on the village of Dolton account, correct? She said he did, yes. All right. Janice Johnson, what is her title? She says, I believe administrative director. And what are the duties, as you know, of the administrative director? She says she does payroll. She actually handles the AP function. She deals with a lot of the vendors, a lot of the staff needs. That's what I know. Oh, Janice Johnson. Janice Johnson is dealing with a lot. That's an administrative assistant who is doing director. She does payroll. She handles AP function, and she deals with the vendors, and she deals with a lot of staff needs. That's a lot. That's a lot of duties. That is a lot of duties. Okay? That's a lot of duties. I don't know what y'all is going off in these comments. I have no idea what is happening in these comments. I don't think I want to know at this point because I have no idea what is happening. Let me just do this. Okay. Janice Johnson is definitely doing a lot. For me, it's all types of alarm bells. She is doing the payroll. That's as administrative director, I think that's one thing I would expect her to do, right? I don't know that I would expect her to be handling vendors, staff. Yes, she's administrative. So I staff, maybe the AP function, but I don't know about them vendors. If they are saying that the vendors are staff or whatever, I don't know, maybe. Um, um, yeah, this is a lot. I would, whew, this is a lot. I mean, we now know that Janice Johnson is no longer at the Village of Dolton anymore. But yeah, that right there, I'm gonna have to put a pin. We're gonna put a pin in this deposition right here. And AP is accounts payable. So that's why, I mean, I'm not too sure that she should be dealing with any of that, but she might. That might be part of her administrative duties. For me, I feel like vendors and accounts payable should really be the finance director, because why? They're the person who's supposed to be dealing with the finance payouts, money coming in. They supposed to be keeping a track of all of that. So, we're going to put a pin right there. We're going to be Anissa Starks. We will be going over just that. We got a lot. We got quite a bit that we could be talking about, right? Which I feel like will give you a better picture of what they're dealing with and what they're trying to, maybe wade through as well. Right? Now you gotta untangle all of this. McGrath really strategically says, she said that there was no one that worked in the finance department, but he asked her about, I think it was 4 people from the Casbrick firm that she said showed up to the office every day. So they would indeed be the finance department or people that would be under her. But they showed up at the village every day. So, yeah, Judge Petty. That's why for me, for me, I don't know, it's a little questionable about her handling that duty when there should be a duty of the finance director, maybe. This is the deposition. This is not a lawsuit. This is a deposition. I don't understand, a lot of the things that be going on out here. People try to call me messy when I'm over here just doing my content. I'm not bothering anyone. That's the thing that be throwing me off. You come over here and start throwing accusations, and all of a sudden, I'm the weird one. Because like I said, if you don't like somebody, you don't like what they doing, don't watch them. Don't subscribe to them. It's that simple. People don't like the fact that I'm defending myself. They have the right to unsubscribe. And if you don't know me by now, which I think is a shame, by the way, if you don't know me by now, I can be with the shits too. I'm not going to talk about you personally. I'm not going to attack your looks. I'm not going to do nothing childish like that. I'm going to keep it to the facts. That's all I'm going to do. All day and every day, but I can be with the shits too. If you haven't watched my baby podcast, that should tell you that I can be with the shits too. And when I have to be, I will be. You know? I mean, I'm just saying, it's been a proven thing, Master G. It's a proven thing. One thing about me, at my 48 years of age, that person that told me that they with the shits, I've been with the shits 10 years longer than you. So I don't mind getting a little dirty every now and then. Sometimes you can't avoid it. And I have not reached back out to LLC, but I was in her comments the other night. I did speak with her. I did tell her that I did not agree with her being bullied or being talked to in that manner. I would never agree with it. And I don't care who that person talk about. I don't care if they talking about Trina. I don't care if they talking about Conscious. I don't care if they talking about Burgundy. I don't care if they talking about Choose Compassion. I don't agree with the bullying of anyone. It doesn't need to occur. Stay in your damn lane and be on your damn channel. And keep your damn people over there with you. That's all you got to do. You don't have to come over here and watch anything. You don't have to like anything I do or say. Actually, you ain't never seen me over there in that person's chat causing no type of problems, drama, or nothing. Because I just don't have to watch you. I don't have to worry about it. I don't know. Because sometimes I be thinking maybe I'll be making too much sense, or maybe I don't make sense at all. Sometimes I'd be like, am I saying the words that's coming out of my mouth? I don't know. Maybe I am. But don't, if you think you're going to come over here and be causing problems over here, you're not. Because mods can do what they need to do. Because right now, while we in this era of messiness that some people are propelling other people into, yeah, we just going to have to do what we going to have to do over here. And it's going to be rough and it's going to be a little tight. But my daddy used to say, it's going to be right. I don't know. Over here, listen, anybody got any problems, take that stuff to Twitch, because that's where we do that. That's where we address that over there. We try not to address it over here on the business platform. Well, Justin, I know that. Say that again louder. So we're going to start off on page 45. When we pick this up again, we will pick this up again next week, Wednesday, because Tuesday is a meeting, which I'll be in person for. And Monday, I may be bringing you a bit of an exclusive from Kankakee. We'll see how it work out. These days, I'm not really, I'm just, it's so much that I could be reporting on, I'm doing a lot of research and things, but we may have a bit of exclusive on Monday night. So we have a few things coming up. All right. I want you guys to enjoy your weekend. There are a whole bunch of festivities going on out here. Happy Father's Day to all of the fathers, to every male that is in these comments, that is in the bushes, watching, not commenting, because you're afraid that you're going to be bullied or harassed the next time somebody go live. Happy Father's Day to you. Okay? I hope you have a great one. I hope you get your turn to sit back, relax, and be served. Okay? Get out here and enjoy these Juneteenth celebrations. and, make some great memories with your families this weekend. And above all, everything else, be safe. Okay? Be safe. Super producer doesn't wish anything but blessings for your life. There are so many things going on. There are so many things happening. We don't need to be fighting each other. We just need to be taking care of each other. All right? You guys have a great night, and I'll see you this weekend, probably Saturday night, really late on my Twitch. All right? We're going to talk about some things on my Twitch, but also look out for some more baby podcasts. I got them coming for you. Did y'all like it? Matter of fact, did y'all like the baby podcast? Who hasn't seen it? If you have not seen my baby podcast video, let me know. I'll play it before we leave. If you did see it and you liked it or you didn't like it, tell me what your thoughts are. It's hilarious. I have watched that thing probably 10,000 times because it is freaking hilarious. When I was making it, I was in tears. Do you understand me? I was in absolute tears when I was making this. I have a few more coming. Okay. I just want to get your thoughts. Who's seen it? I'm going to play it on my way out. Here we go.
Why can't you protect yourself? He looking for, because here she go.
Damn, did I say anything to you? No, the fuck I did.
You made a comment to me. You're not relevant to me. Fuck you, bitch. Who is you? Y'all always fucking with somebody. Bitch, you gonna get the right motherfucking one. Keep fucking around. This where this man live. Bitch, you don't live here. You don't run shit.
That thing, I have watched that thing so many times. I have laughed so hard. Oh my God. Oh my God. Makes me crack up every time I see it. Okay. Every time. And I have a few more coming. Okay. I have a few more coming. These things are hilarious. And I have a few more coming. I'm telling you, I cannot stop watching. It brings me so much joy. I don't know. You just gotta laugh at some of this stuff and some people. So that's what I'm choosing to do. But I'm still gonna handle the business. So Zulu Black, what are you saying? How can I see that cue? See what? What's Twitch? Hey, Justin, if you're still hanging around, can you put my Twitch handle in the chat? Twitch is another broadcasting. It's another platform. Mainly gamers use it, but they have a lot of podcasts on there too. They're called IRL or in real life podcasts. And so there's a lot of people on there. So let me see if I still have it. Nope. Oh, I put it in the chat. Hold on, let me put it in the chat. The baby thing I just showed, it's on my channel. It's under videos, Zulu Black. It's under videos. If you go to the tab that says videos, it's the first one. There. Hold on. Okay, there's my Twitch channel in the. All right. Okay. I'm gonna see you guys on probably late on Saturday on Twitch. And y'all be safe out here this weekend. Do what you gotta do.
I hope you wake up. and your dog licked your makeup. I hope you get
ready for work
and you
can't find your shirt.
I hope you
I
go
hope
on a date and your
and you
man asks for space with no place for
excuses. I hope you took deuces. I hope all your plans fail with no money for bills, and you end up in jail between the tail.
Where your space is invaded by the hate you created, trying to run through a village, lie still.
Oh, I ain't want nothing, man. Just wanted to tell you I love you.
We need personal space.
Oh, I ain't want nothing, man. Just wanted to tell you I love you.